Okay, so I don't really have any notes set up for you today yet, but we're going to be looking at equations. And then get my little text box here. And so this is a review, day 3 review of equations. And I didn't set up any notes because I wanted to try and approach this a little bit differently. And I'm going to say a little bit more elementary schoolish. So we have 2 forms of an equation that we can talk about. The first one is the slope-intercept. And I'm saying I'm going to approach it a little bit more elementary because I'm going to use those symbols in approaching it. Where the triangle is going to be our slope, and the box is our y-intercept. Okay, so one of the forms, the slope-intercept, we always have an x and a y in our equation. That's always given. So that's always going to be there, that y and this x. The things that are going to get replaced are the slope and the y-intercept. Now, you did some of that yesterday for your assignment. You replaced in the slope and the y-intercept. The other form that we have is called the point slope. So this is the slope-intercept. The other one is the point slope. So it already has a y in there, and it always has an x in there. It has a slope right in front of the x. It always has that minus sign and that minus sign. And then I'm going to put a little y there and a little x there. And so once again, the triangle represents the slope. The circles represent the point. So the point that we're given is OX, circle X, and circle Y. So anywhere that you see a symbol is what you're going to be replacing depending on what they give you. So if they tell you they want an equation of a line, they'll say write an equation of a line given, and then they'll give you some options. So the first one, that the slope is equal to 2/3 and y-intercept equals 5. So they give you the slope and the y-intercept. So we're going to use the slope-intercept form of the line. And we replace that triangle with what the slope is. And we replace the square with what they tell us is the y-intercept. And they're just asking for an equation of a line. They're not asking us to put it in any special form. So we just leave our answer that way. They may give you a slope of -2 and a point of 3, -6. In this case, we're given a slope and a point. So we're going to use that slope point formula, this one up here. So we're going to replace in our equation, this is our base equation, so we can start by writing this part down. We know we're going to have that as our base, and anywhere you see a symbol, you're going to be replacing that with something from what they give you. So the slope is -2. That's that triangle. That's the one out in front. The point is 3, -6. This first one is the x-coordinate, so it goes with the x back here. The -6 is the y-coordinate, so it goes with the y up here. And because we have that minus there and this minus here, those are from the equation. They stay there, but the negative from the 6 also goes into it because it's a -6 as part of the point. So slope and point.
Wait, hold on. How did you plug that in again? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused.
Okay, so the triangle, I'm going to go back up to the one up here so you can kind of see both. So the triangle is always a slope, so they told us the slope is -2, so that's what I put in there where the triangle is. And then from the point, this is my x-coordinate from my point, so that went right there. This is my y-coordinate from the point, so that one went with the y right there.
Okay, I see. I was looking at the wrong equation.
Okay. So slope point, you're going to use this one here. Slope intercept, you use this one. And then...
How can you tell? Oh, never mind. I figured it out.
Which one you need to use? Is that what you were going to ask?
Yeah, at what time do you need to use it? Like with different equations, but those two equations explain it.
Yeah. So this next one is going to be a little bit... You're going to question which one you're going to use. But you're always going to use the slope intercept when you're given a slope and an intercept. That's the only time you can use that one. When creating an equation, you can always put an equation into any form you want to go to. But when you're creating them, you're only going to be using these two types of equations. And you're only going to use the slope intercept when they tell you specifically what the slope and what the intercept are. The other times, you're always going to use the point slope. So they gave you a slope in that last example, and they gave you a point, slope, point, you use that equation. But what happens when they give you 2 points? It goes through 2, 3, and -1, 5. What do you do then? Well, you don't have a y-intercept, so you can't use that first one. You are given a point, so the second one is the one that you're going to use. But what else do you need to know besides a point to use that equation? Well, you need to know the slope, right? Someone was going to answer slope. So back from our... Huh? Okay. So back from our day 1 review, we looked at when you're given 2 points, how do you find a slope between them? You take the difference between the y's. So 5 minus 3, our y-coordinate from this one, our y-coordinate from this one, over our x-coordinate from that one, minus our x-coordinate from there. Remember, it's always y's on top, x's on the bottom, and it's the difference between them, so you're using that negative sign. So we calculate out the slope to be negative 2/3. Now that minus sign, does it matter that it stays with the 3, or can it be as the whole fraction is negative? It can be anything. It can be down here in the denominator, it can be up in the numerator, it can be out in front of the fraction. They all mean the same thing as long as you just have one negative sign. So now that we have the slope, now we know a slope, 2 points. We're going to use that point slope form. Y minus circle y equals triangle times x minus circle x. The choice you have now is you can use either one of those points in this equation. So the first time I'm going to use the first point. So my equation is going to look like this. Y minus the y coordinate of the point, which is 3, equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate of the point. That is one equation that goes through the point 2, 3, and negative 1, 5, because we calculated the slope out to be negative 2/3, and we used one of those points. The other equation that you could have come up with is y minus, let's use the other point, y minus 5 equals the slope, negative 2/3, times x minus the x coordinate from that point, which is negative 1. That is another equation that goes through those 2 points. Questions?
So do we have to write both down or just one of them?
You just have to write one of them down.
Okay.
My answer key will have both of them so that you don't get marked wrong. And because I'm concentrating on just writing the equations today, I don't want you to convert them into any other form. Like, I don't want you to put these into standard form or anything like that. I want you to concentrate on these 2 specific forms for writing equations. These are the 3 different types of problems that there's going to be 4 different types of problems on your assignment. I didn't go over the first one. The first type of problem that you are going to have, and you can tell me, if I ask you to write an equation of a line from this graph, can you tell me the y-intercept?
Do you figure out the coordinates first?
Yep, you can. What's the coordinate here?
0 and 4.
4.
And the coordinates down here?
3, 1.
How about negative 3, 1?
Negative 3, 1.
Yep. Okay. So by just looking at the graph, can you tell me what the y-intercept is? Y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? So where does that line cross the y-axis?
Oh,
it crosses it at 4. Okay. Can you tell me the slope? So how much do you rise How much do you rise? You rise up 3 units to get up to 4. I did a really bad job of doing my little things. 3 units up and 3 units over. So what's my slope?
3 over, yeah.
So my slope is 1. I know a slope, I know a y-intercept. Which form of the line am I going to use to create my equation? Slope-intercept. So I'm using this base here. I'm replacing the triangle with what the slope is, which is 1. And I'm replacing the square with the y-intercept, which is 4. That is my equation of this line. So from a graph, you should be able to come up with what a y-intercept is. You also should be able to use the rise and the run to figure the slope. And once you have the slope and the y-intercept, you can create your equation. So those are the 4 types of problems that you're going to see on your worksheet today. Any questions?